There are over 60 brand new augments coming to Black Ops 7 Zombies on launch, adding to the 126 that already exist in Black Ops 6. Every single item in the game is getting 2 brand new augments, so in this video, we're going to look at every new upgrade coming to every perk, field upgrade, and ammo mod, including upgrades to currently existing augments, and some absolutely game-changing new augments, such as being able to automatically apply armor plates when found on the floor, and reviving teammates even if they've bled out and died. So let's not waste any more time and jump straight into everything, starting first with the changes generally to augments in Black Ops 7. The first and most important is a brand new feature called Overheal, which is a modifying buff that allows players to temporarily increase the maximum health using certain augments or equipment. Now, up till now in-game, if you wanted to increase your health beyond the health maximum, you would need to use something like the probiotic augment on Juggernog. However, there are certain augment combinations that are brand new that will increase your health further, but this bonus to your health is temporary, meaning unlike your regular health, it will not regenerate over time. And this bonus health is lost once your current health drops below the normal maximum, but it can be temporarily reacquired. The second biggest change here to augments is that once you have unlocked all 8 augments in a research diagram, you can then unlock the extra slot minor augment, which enables you to equip a second minor augment in-game. Therefore, once research has been completed on a specific perk, ammo mod, or field upgrade, you will have a total of 8 augments, with 3 being active during a game, 1 major and 2 minor. Some general changes that Treyarch have made to augments overall for Black Ops 7 involve fine-tuning some of the different augments in the game, such as Big Game, where now all Big Game augments for ammo mods will receive a buff to damage or frequency that they trigger. As an example, the Big Game on Brain Rot or Napalm Burst will now charm or burn elite enemies more frequently. Augments like Dead Again and Critical Eye that operate on a per shot influence regarding ammo, or weapons that have multiple pellets or an area of effect damage will now have a very small cooldown as to not make them overwhelmingly effective for those weapon types. And lastly, anything that can charm a zombie, such as the Brain Rot ammo mod to turn a zombie, will now avoid slaying the last zombie in the round, making it so the round doesn't end unless you want it to. Now, we have a lot of augments to go over, but firstly, it's important to go over the brand new augments that we're getting across the brand new perk, field upgrade, and ammo mod that we're getting on launch. So the first new item we're getting is the Wisp T perk. Once consumed after you've slayed a number of zombies, a wisp will spawn, beginning to slay nearby zombies for around 30 seconds. Once 2 minutes has passed, the wisp can be summoned again. Just like Brain Rot, it also will refrain from killing the last zombie in the round, so it doesn't accidentally end the round for you. 4 major augments for Wisp T are Mask of Wrath, transforming the wisp into a demon, dealing more damage to zombies. Mask of Salvation, which turns the wisp into a fox, which can revive you while it's active, and this can be done up to 3 times per match. Mask of Distraction, where it turns into a monkey that attracts enemies and does damage in an area. And Mask of Benevolence, where it turns into a maiden, which won't attack zombies, but will periodically heal you. The minor augments are Extension to increase the wisp's lifetime, Haste to decrease the cooldown before a wisp can be summoned, Zombie Sitter will attract and avoid damaging the last zombie in the round until the round times out, and Fetcher, where the wisp will pick up items and power-ups from you aside from the nuke power-up. Moving on to the brand new ammo mod, this is Fireworks, last seen in Black Ops 3 Zombies. This ammo mod fills the air above, illuminating the nearby zone in a fiery fireworks show, with a series of firework explosions that detonate and rip the undead apart. Major augments for Fireworks are Big Game, where it can activate on elite enemies, creating an even bigger light show of fireworks. Starburst, where the fireworks explode immediately, sending flares through enemies in all directions. Weeping Willow, where instead of targeting enemies, the flares will land on the ground and explode for a while. And Fire Wheel, which will create 2 fire wheels that spin around and damage enemies. The minor augments are Starlight, where Fireworks launches more flares. Big Bang, where firework flares deal more damage to special and elite enemies. High Yield, which increases the area of effect. And Short Fuse, where firework cooldown is reduced. And moving on to the new field upgrade in Black Ops 7, Toxic Growth, which summons a deadly growth of thorns in front of you. Following major augments for it are Urticant, where Toxic Growth takes up a wider area and enemies that enter the growth continue to be slowed after leaving it. Core Deception, where the first normal or special enemy to walk in the growth is entangled and charmed, attacking other enemies enemies that enter, pollination, where enemies are killed by the growth explode, dealing toxic damage to nearby enemies and slowing them, or zootery, where the first normal or special enemy to walk in the growth becomes the toxic growth itself. The minor augments for toxic growth are ankle shredder, where enemies moving through the growth are even slower, green thumb, which significantly increases the toxic growth health, extra charge to increase the max charge by 1, and plant food, where killing enemies with toxic growth has a chance to drop healing fruit. Now we've got all the new stuff out of the way, let's now go over all of the returning perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades, and go along with the brand new augments and the updated augments. Juggernaut got one major augment upgrade to Turtle Shell, where instead of the armor acting only as a shield on your back, it has been updated to completely absorb damage to your back, while also now allowing normal damage mitigation to your front, acting a lot more like the traditional shield. And the brand new major augment is Iron Core, where your health is increased when all of your armor plates are broken, almost acting like as if you still have armor even when you don't. The minor augments for Juggernaut remain the same, however there is a brand new one called Shake It Off, where incoming damage will occasionally be significantly reduced. Moving on to PhD Flopper, the major augment PhD Slider got a slight adjustment. Before, sliding into enemies would trigger an explosion, but it's now been adjusted so the effectiveness when sideswiping has been reduced, and this augment will now trigger when impact occurs during the direction of travel. Brand new major augment for PhD is Double Whammy, which will release a second explosion shortly after the first one. All three minor augments remain exactly the same, but we have a fourth one which is called Stuntman, where wall jumping will create an explosion. And so if there was any doubt that wall jumping wouldn't be inside of zombies, this confirms that it is. Moving on to Elemental Pop, all the major augments remain exactly the same, unchanged, but there is a new one called Rainbow Pop, where weapons with an ammo mod equipped have a chance to deal the elemental damage that an enemy is weak to, which sounds pretty useful actually. And on minor augments, they all remain the same, but we have a fourth one called Refreshment, where killing a special or elite enemy with its elemental weakness resets your elemental pop cooldown. Moving on to Melee Macchiato, and at a base fundamental, the perk has now been upgraded, where the damage of each punch will increase until round 30. The punch itself will be faster, and you can expect different damage multipliers depending on the melee weapons that you use. Very, very cool. So jumping into the major augments, they remain unchanged, but there is a new one called Mock 'em All, where the punch is replaced with your dedicated melee weapon, which I think is going to be so useful in Black Ops 7 Zombies. And then on minor augments, one of the original has been adjusted, which was strength training, where your punch can one-hit kill normal enemies for more rounds. And this has been adjusted so the number of rounds that you can one-hit kill normal enemies has been increased. And the brand new minor augment is called Barista Brawl, where you will gain more essence from melee kills, which I also think is absolutely awesome. Moving on to Vulture Raid, all of the major augments remain untouched, but the new one is absolutely game-changing, which is Armormatic, where picking up an armor plate automatically applies it to your vest. That in itself is an absolute game changer. We'll 100% be running that one. And looking at the minor augments, the Picky Eater minor augment has been adjusted, where originally on death, zombies have a higher chance of dropping your current equipment, and now the chance to drop has been lessened slightly. Brand new minor augment for this is Extra Serving, where special and elite enemies you kill have a chance to drop a large essence vial. Moving on to Double Tap, the major augments remain unchanged, but the brand new major is Double Dealer, where every fourth bullet in your magazine deals double damage. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds absolutely game-breaking. Moving on to minor augments, none of those have been changed whatsoever, but the new one is Double Down, where bullet weapons have increased penetration damage through enemies, making Double Tap particularly good for taking out lots of hordes. Moving on to Quick Revive, one of the major augments has been adjusted, being Equivalent Exchange, where if you have Quick Revive while down, killing an enemy will revive you, which can be done up to 3 times. This has been adjusted now, so you will always go into your last stand pose. Quick Revive is no longer removed on use, and you keep all perks if you kill an enemy whilst down. This has turned this augment from being useless into being absolutely insane now. Let me reiterate this again. Quick Revive is no longer removed on use, and you keep all perks if you kill an enemy whilst down. This may now be even better than what Dying Wish was in Black Ops 6, but the brand new augment for Quick Revive is Adrenaline Rush, where killing a special or elite enemy will start your health regeneration. For minor augments, nothing has changed here, but the brand new minor is Emergency Medical Kit, where you can now craft a self-revive kit up to 4 times. So naturally in the game you are limited to 3, but this will allow you to craft a 4th. Moving on to Deadshot Daiquiri, one of the major augments has been changed, which was Dead Again. But critical hits had a chance of adding a bullet to your magazine. This has now been adjusted where a slight cooldown has been added. A brand new major augment is Dead to Rise, where bullets deal double damage to enemies within point blank range, making this really good for if you're hip firing. None of the minor augments have been changed, but the brand new one is called Dead Heat, which temporarily increases your movement speed after getting a point blank kill. Imagine this combined with Stamina Up's Hot Foot could make you extremely fast in the game. Moving on to Depth Perception, one of the major augments has been adjusted to Critical Eye, where a small chance that a body shot becomes a critical, and a slight cooldown has been added to this, and it does not work with explosive weapons or wonder weapons. The new major augment is Sixth Sense, where you can see enemies close behind you and take less damage from behind. None of the minor augments have been adjusted, but we have a brand new one called Hidden Gems, where Depth Perception can now see loot, which I imagine would be very useful for a big map like Ashes of the Damned. Moving on to Stamina Up, none of the major or minor augments have been touched, but we've got one new major, which is Guns Up, which allows you to fire while sprinting, essentially giving you gung ho from multiplayer, and the minor augment is Footwork, which increases your non-forward sprinting speed. Moving on to the final perk, Speed Cola, none of the major augments have been touched, but we have a brand new one called Ammo Surge, where you gain a burst of speed when initiating a reload, and again, combined with the other speed augments, could make you even quicker. None of the minor augments have been touched either, but we have a brand new one called Prestidigitation, where reloading has a chance to not use stock ammo. Alright, we can finally take a breather. That's all the perks done. We can now move on to the ammo mods. We're starting with Brain Rot. None of the major or minor augments have been adjusted, but we've got a brand new major called Caustic Fumes, where charmed enemies deal toxic damage to nearby enemies, and the new minor augment Super Serum, which increases the damage dealt by charmed enemies. Moving on to Napalm Burst, one of the major augments Big Game has been adjusted, where now it will burn elite enemies more frequently. We also have the brand new major augment Petroleum, where Napalm Burst leaves a pool of fire on the ground. None of the minor augments have changed, but we've got a brand new one called Backdraft, which increases the activation radius. Moving on to Shadow Rift, one of the major augments has been adjusted Big Game, where now Shadow Rift will activate on elite enemies more frequently, which is fantastic. We also have the brand new major augment Gravity Well, where Shadow Rift becomes a black hole that pulls in enemies for teleporting away nearby enemy survivors. The minor augments, we've got one brand new one called Ammo Theorem, where teleporting enemies away adds ammo to your weapon magazine from stock. Moving on to Dead Wire, one of the major augments Big Game has now been adjusted, where the Dead Wire will now stun elite enemies sooner, and we have a brand new major called Ball Lightning, where activating Dead Wire launches an orb that deals electric damage to nearby enemies as it moves. None of the minors have been adjusted, but we have a new one called Aftershock, where enemies that are stunned by Dead Wire have a chance to spread to nearby enemies. And lastly, we have Cryo Freeze, where two of the major augments have been adjusted, with Big Game now slowing elite enemies more frequently, and an adjustment to Ice Cloud, where originally enemies that were killed while frozen will leave a cloud that slows enemies, and now a cooldown has been employed to adjust and lessen the number of ice clouds appearing. We also have a brand new major augment called Cold Company, where Cryo Freeze has a chance to activate on more than one enemy at a time. None of the minor augments have changed, but we have one brand new one called Thermal Shock, where enemies are damaged once they're unfrozen. Let's now go over the final parts of the video, which is the returning field upgrades with all of their augments, starting first with Dark Flare, where one of the major augments has been adjusted, which is Dark Pack. This augment makes the beam heal and revive other players on contact, and this has been adjusted so the revive speed has been increased to ensure down players are revived more quickly. And the new major augment is Muzzle Blast, where the beam now deals additional damage in a cone in front of you. None of the minor augments have been adjusted, but the brand new one Dusk Flame allows enemies that are hit by the beam are dealt additional shadow damage over time. Moving on to Healing Aura, none of the major augments have been changed, but the new one is an absolute game changer, which is Necromancer, where Healing Aura can now revive dead allies. This means at any point during a round where players have died and bled out, or even in a boss fight, if someone has this on Healing Aura, they can activate it to bring players back into the game. None of the minor augments have been adjusted, but we have a new one called Cornucopia, where affected players get a health overcharge. Moving on to Frenzied Guard, none of the major augments have changed at all, but we have a new one called Fists of Frenzy, and whilst frenzied, you can annihilate enemies with your fists. None of the minor augments have changed, but the new one is Dual Layer, whilst Frenzied Guard is active, armor durability is increased. Moving on to energy mine, none of the major augments have been changed at all, but we have a new one called smart mine, where energy mine has more detonations and waits for multiple enemies to be in range for each detonation. Moving to minor augments, none of those have changed, but we have a new one called recycle, where a deployed energy mine can be recycled for field upgrade charge. And finally, Ether Shroud has had none of its major augments changed at all, but we have a new one called After Image, where you will be able to distract enemies with a dark ether clone of yourself, which Kevin Drew commented in a creator call last week was his favorite augment to use now. None of the minor augments have changed, but we have a new one called Impulse, where you'll deal shadow damage to enemies on activation and increase your movement speed during Ether Shroud. But there we have it. That is all 66 new augment upgrades coming to Black Ops 7 Zombies on the launch. You will have noticed that some field upgrades, ammo mods, and perks are missing that were in Black Ops 6, and those will be coming in Season 1, which will also have its very own set of brand new augments as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on your favorite new augments and changes that they've done here for Black Ops 7 Zombies. If you want to watch a video going over absolutely every new feature in Black Ops 7 Zombies, then click this video on your screen right now. But to see the first gameplay previews of Black Ops 7 Zombies, then why not check out this video on your screen as well, and make sure to subscribe, because I'll have live Black Ops 7 Zombies gameplay at COD Next on September 30th here on this channel.